Well, we're here at the big screen for some analysis, but the real show is what happens in the break, and you guys miss out. But we don't think you should. So,
Hey, go Jamie. Go Jamie. Do you think it's your birthday? Go on, live. Hey, yes, love it.
It's a robot, but not.
It's a robot without batteries. Let's go to the analysis. It's a robot without batteries. Let's go.
Yeah, Thierry wants enough of that. Thierry wants to get to the analysis. We're going to look at Real Madrid's first goal, Valverde.
Yes, and it was designed properly by design, well designed. I repeat again. Look at how low the fullbacks are to make sure that they can have a little impact on the wingers. And then they set up a box inside, and I will explain. You can see here, Gay is asking who is taking him. Now, there's something very unusual before we play it. Valverde high and wide. Why? Because he's fast. Vinicius Junior high and wide. Now we have the goalkeeper on the ball, Thibaut Courtois. You're going to see, he's going to come all the way here with the ball and look at who is going to jump where. If he jumps here, he will play on that side. If he jumps here, he will play on that side. We all know that you cannot be offside living from the halfway line. That's by design. You rarely see a team setting up in the 4, low, box 2, high and wide. They did it on purpose because I coach this guy, he can reach. And exactly what they worked on worked. Play. So I explained that one to you. He's attracted by Brahim Diaz. He's daydreaming. Now that's the plan. Side of the centre-back that left his position. And we all know what happened, and that Valverde, punished them.
Jamie, and here we are.
And here we are.
Paramount Plus. Anything more to add? Now you've got more time.
Nope.
I wanted to add something to Jamie, actually, because if you look at it, it's true what he says. You need to understand what's happening in the game and the moment of the game. But we saw Tottenham getting done like that. We saw Thibaut Courtois with Peter nearly done like that. We've seen a lot of teams getting done by trying to play from last night to tonight. So teams that were ahead, teams that were behind. What do you think that is, that they all do it?
It's the way that the modern game has gone. You need a goalkeeper who plays. That's what we see from the teams at the top level. But the one last night from the Tottenham goalkeeper, the frustration I have a little bit with goalkeepers is that, as we've seen tonight with Jorgensen, when you're on your weak foot, or maybe you've been given a bad pass, or the game state, it's decision-making. And I think this happens a lot with players, but a lot with goalkeepers, where there's an instruction maybe from the coach, and because the coaches give you an instruction about what he wants, that does not mean that you then have to do that consistently through the game. You're the one on the pitch. You see a different picture than the coach does on the side of the pitch. So you've still got to make decisions with, the idea in mind. Of course, you can't go totally against your coach, but there's certain situations, and last night was a perfect example with the Spurs goalkeeper, where he's made a mistake. We've all been in football where you make a mistake. The next thing you do with that ball, it might be a different decision that you would normally make because of that reason. You might be a little bit more nervous. It's on his left foot. So for me, it comes down to this decision-making as well, but it is what we expect now from goalkeepers, isn't it?
What would you do, though? What would you do in that position?
No, because...
coach asks you to do that. Would you just...
No, you're not going to...
No, I heard someone saying to stop talking.
Well, the reason that you were asked to stop talking is because we're going to go into that in a little bit more detail later in the show, because there have been quite a few incidences. We're going to show you some footage and break it down properly for you. So we just didn't want to overdo it right now. Yeah, exactly. But why don't we talk about the Real Madrid game for a second? Real Madrid with the 3-0 win against Manchester City. Guillem Balaguer was in Madrid for us tonight. He's spoken to the Madrid coach, Alvaro Arbeloa.
What a wonderful thing, isn't it? I don't know, help me explain what happened.
Well, I think we have a plan. We believe in that plan, and the players give everything tonight.
And then Valverde, sorry, you had Bergkamp, Van Basten and Del Piero playing today for you.
Yeah, Fede was incredible. amazing night for him. He scored 3 goals. He ran like a crazy. So he's one of our captains, one of our leaders. I demand a lot of him, but I'm so happy for him because I think he deserves it. So really proud.
The plan was to be tied at the back. There was a lot of work from him. Was helping. Was Trent's best friend, wasn't he? Trying to stop Doku. What else was working?
Well, we know Pep was preparing something, some surprise. We knew that, and of course, when I saw Doku and Savinho, I saw really clear his plan, and Fede was key to help Trent with Doku. That is a great winger, really fast, really dangerous, and of course Manchester City is a great team. You need to be really compact, really narrow, no space for them, and I think we did great.
Good. Well, let's go straight out to Guillem, where he is in Madrid, in the tunnel over there. Because, Guillem, I'm sure you were listening to Thierry earlier when he said that, nobody had really seen this result coming for Real Madrid against Manchester City. Was that kind of the reaction over there?
Absolutely. I think humans generally try to tell a story of what just happened, but sometimes you cannot apply logic. I've seen a half-time Real Madrid fans crying, and it was because it felt like a football miracle. This was not expected, and all of a sudden, somebody who's never scored a hat-trick, scoring 3 goals in the first 45 minutes, looking like the best player in the world right now. When the first 90 minutes, it was all City. They were doing what they were aimed to do, what they prepared, and yet, 1 goal destroyed everything. And then, this is where the magic of the Bernabeu takes place. Basically, the Manchester City players were in shock and could not get over the fact that even though they played well, they conceded the first goal. And Bernardo Silva told us that emotionally the team went down. And that was it. Because when that happens, Real Madrid smells blood. And especially somebody like Valverde, a survivor in football, if you like, left very, very young Montevideo and came to Madrid for only 4 million euros. He was at Castilla, Real Madrid B, and then had to go on loan to Deportivo. Did quite well there, and little by little, he's fighting his way to be one of the best players in the world, or according to Trent Arnold, one of the most undervalued players in the world. All those things can only happen at the Santiago Bernabeu, and everybody we talk to, including Ruben Diaz as well, they say so. There's something around here that affects positively the local teams and negatively the rivals.
Absolutely. Guillem, I've been told we can say goodbye to you now. Does that mean, are we saying goodbye to Guillem for the rest of the night? We are.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like an early finish, Guillem.
But we're keeping pizza all night.
Oh, they haven't said that. Go and enjoy yourself. Have a nice time in Madrid. See you soon. Good to see you.
See you later, Guillem.
Bye. Is it cool to see a player like Fede Valverde have a night where he gets to shine like that, Thierry?
It's a different way of shining because he always shines. The only thing is people don't see that type of shine. That's the only issue. People don't see people that run. And I can assure you, when you play and you Trent Arnold and someone defends with you, it's easier to defend. It's easier to defend.
I'm sick of Real Madrid, me, honestly.
It's easier to defend. So not only he scored goals, what he did off the ball also, but he always technically shines. Before, he didn't have to overgo because he had the Benzema, because he had all the guys that could do that. So now you allow him to do more. He does more. So that's about it. That's the type of guy that will adapt to any situation. That's a guy that played right back, holding midfielder, left back, under the striker, centre back. Only goalkeeper, he didn't do it. And so you have to give him credit. Like, it doesn't matter you're from Montevideo or 4 million. It doesn't matter. It's what you have here. I keep on saying it. We're going to talk about Bodo. They're just making it normal now to beat teams 3-0 at home. But it's because they play with this. And so you have to give him a lot of credit. And not only because he was Bergkamp, he was Thuram, Bergkamp, Makelele, he was everybody.
Henry.
It was everybody.
Why always to City, though? Why always do it City?
Well, have you given up now, Micah? Have you lost hope? Is that over for you, that tie?
No, it's not over yet. If City get an early goal, the only thing is, I think Real Madrid probably score. The Etihad, I think City is going to have to score 4 or 5 goals.
It's not going to be easy, but teams have come back from 3-0 down, haven't they, in Champions League before?
They have.
Well,
4 of them, in fact.
Only 4 times. You were one of them.
I'm thinking of the final.
Yeah. And he's coming to join us now. Great to see you, Trent. How are you? How fabulous to get you out here. Trent, it's been a really long time since we've been able to see you and catch up with you. First of all, wow, what a performance that was from your lot tonight.
Yeah, massive performance. I think a lot of the noise when the draw happened and then leading up to this game, especially the way that we've been playing the last few games and the results we've had, a lot of people just expected us to get battered tonight, but you know, it just shows the mentality. It doesn't matter what injuries you've got, what players out. You know, this competition means a lot to the club, and us as players, we understand that. So go out there and they support us like that. You know, anyone can win, and we've absolutely executed the game plan perfectly in that first half, especially.
It was almost like you were offended by the fact that they were favourites in your backyard.
Of course, I think, I think people will say that they're favourites, and you know, going off results and the way that both teams have been playing, it could have been true. But you know, when you get to knockout football in the Champions League, anyone can beat anyone. So you know, we had confidence coming into this game. We knew our game plan, we executed it, and we scored our goals very, very ruthlessly.
Yeah.
What has changed then in the last month? What was so different today than Getafe, Osasuna, Benfica here? Because it was such a marked difference. I mean, the energy levels, everything was fantastic tonight.
I think obviously the size of the game, I think is the main thing. I don't want to say that other games are less important, but when there's so much hype around the game and so much eyes on it as a player, you know you need to perform. You know, especially when you play for a club like this, the expectation is there's no excuses. You have to win. So our mentality is to go all the way and win the game, win the competition. So no matter who's in front of us, you know, we want to win.
Trent, we just want to show you Valverde's third goal. How good was he tonight, by the way?
I'm running out of words for him as a player now.
Have you got words for this finish?
He's I've said even as a Liverpool player, I've admired him, and I think he is undoubtedly the most underrated footballer on the planet. I think when you play with him, you understand how much he gives to a team. He covers every blade of grass. He gives us all. He's I think as a player, the best attribute you can have is that your teammates can always count on you, and he's always there. He never lets us down. Obviously scored a last-minute winner on the weekend, and then does what he does today. It's absolutely incredible, and I think maybe people might start talking about it now, but I think for many years he's been in that top bracket of midfielders.
Yeah.
Even your teammates that weren't playing today were watching, and the reaction from Jude for that goal was this. Have a little look at this, because this really made us laugh, because this is kind of how we all reacted in real time as well.
I think everybody did. I think it was similar for myself on the pitch. It's like you don't see goals like that every day. So he's an incredible player, and he's playing with a lot of confidence, as you can tell. Otherwise, you know, you don't score those type of goals.
Talking about the game plan, Trent, obviously we've seen his 3 amazing goals there, but when Doku was really starting to establish himself in the first half, your teamwork seemed so important when it came to defending Manchester City.
Of course, I think, you know, we played them early on this season as well, so we've seen the threat that a player like Doku can bring. I've played against him many times, so you know what he likes to do, and it's very, very, very difficult to stop. So you have to double up on him, you have to triple up on him to have any chance of stopping him, and we did that. You know, Fede, Thiago, Brahim, they were all around him with me, trying to limit as much success as he could have, really.
And Trent, we don't speak to you as much as we want to, of course. You're still really enjoying it here?
Yeah, a couple of injuries, you know. I think it's never what you want when you first join a club.
No, of course not.
You want to hit the ground running. Wasn't able to do that, but you know, since I've found my fitness, found my feet in the team, you know, I'm loving it here, and I've loved it ever since I made the decision and first joined the club. I think, you know, it's a dream come true to be playing in a stadium like this, to be playing for a club like this, and playing in games like this today. So, you know, I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm trying to embrace the culture. I'm trying to, you know, adapt it as well as I can, and you know, the lads and the fans and the city have all accepted me with open arms, which, you know, you can't ask for more. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to have a successful season, but you know, we focus on a second leg next week.
Yeah. All right, Trent, we'll let you go. Thank you. It was really great catching up with you.
And
well
you.
done tonight. We'll take the microphone and we'll let you go and rejoin your teammates, who I imagine are going to be celebrating too. Well done. Celebrating, perhaps not through the night, but perhaps a little bit. Look, they got to enjoy that performance. And wow, if you came off the pitch against Man City, I just enjoyed the fact that there you could almost tell they did not like the fact that Man City were favourites tonight. So how satisfying would that win be?
I think it will be. He knows it's only the start. He's a good enough player. He's been far enough in this competition to know that one good result isn't going to define your season. But just the focus and the energy that he was giving off there is someone who knows this season isn't over. He knows he's only growing into it. I really enjoyed that interview. It was lovely to see him.
Yeah, it was great to speak to him because you don't hear a lot from him, of course, in England, and certain rumours start here, get translated into very bad English, and then another narrative is written. But I know he's really loving his time here, and the more he plays and the more he adapts and the more he learns, I think he'll come on tons. He really will.
Mackie got a good reception when he came off as well. What did you think of his performance tonight?
I thought it was good. I thought it was hard first 10 minutes. Doku looked really dangerous, but we knew that would happen. We highlighted it before the game, how vulnerable they may be down the flanks, Real Madrid. But what they did do is they got Fede Valverde back to double up, and they got Brahim Diaz back at times to double up or treble up against Doku, and they snuffed that out. But it's hard because Doku's a really, really good winger. He likes to go right, he likes to go left, keeps the defenders guessing. So if you can show him one way to where your teammate's standing, it helps a hell of a lot, and that's what they did really well today. They defended gallantly, didn't they? They had men back and they worked their socks off, as hard as I've seen them work in a long time this year.
Back to the drawing board for Manchester City. Let's get the thoughts of their boss, Pep Guardiola, see what he made of that 3-0 loss here at the Bernabeu. Speaking with Jules Breach.
Pep, it looked like you started the game so well. Then what happened?
Yeah, we arrived 3 times, 6 goals and good actions. The first we defend proper, and after make good actions, the amount of times we arrived by line, you know, to make a crosses, to make a tapping. So, I don't know, I had the feeling that it was a good game. It was not that I think the result dictate. Of course, also Madrid had the ability and the quality, and every time you lose the ball, the transitions, because they keep the ball and after they run, always they can do it. But it's what it is. I had the feeling that, it was better than the result said, but the result is here. We have 1 week, and in Etihad we'll see him.
Did it feel like it was tough for your team to get control back once they scored the first goal?
Yeah, but after that didn't create much, and after the second time arrived second goal, and then arrived the third time a third goal. So it's not easy, you know that, or that, and the quality they have. They defend so compact, so solidarity. 8 players, 11 players there defending. So the transitions always is there, and of course Jeremy tried really, really well, and every time we arrived we had players there, but unfortunately we could not do it.
Yeah, as you say, so many good attacking players out on the pitch. Extra frustrating not to be able to get even just the 1 goal to take back home.
That's why we did it. So I think that the first leg try to score the goals. I know that, you know, to have the feeling that we wanna do it, not just defend, but look, the penalty they missed, the transition as well. So the team has always have been so many times I play against them, always do it. We try to control it with the ball, but at the end we could not do it.
We have seen some amazing comebacks in this competition. How positive do you feel that you can turn this around at home?
Now is recover mentally a little bit, the physicality, and go to West Ham and London will be tough, you know, for the Premier League. See, we are there. And after, we'll see with our people. I'm pretty sure they will come, and your football never know. We're going to find something, or we're going to read what they have done to do it, and we'll try.
How big are these next few weeks for Manchester City in all 4 competitions that could define your season?
Yeah, it's nice arriving at the end, but of course we want to extend. We will see. So now is recover and think of the next one.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pep Guardiola, you almost felt like he couldn't argue too much with it, but he's saying, look, we didn't create enough. They they were so compact defensively, made it really difficult for them. What is it about this performance tonight for you that City were lacking in?
Well, I think Trent said it when he stood with us here before. He said their game plan played off to a T. They accepted that at early stages they might have to suck it up, but they'd be able to hit Manchester City on the counter-attack. They didn't necessarily have recognised fullbacks playing, and they hurt them in those circumstances. But look, City, it wasn't through lack of effort. It never happens with the Manchester City team. It just looked like tactically they got a little bit wrong tonight. But who are we to question Pep Guardiola? You know, he's had a bad night, no getting away from it. He's had a bad night as a coach, but it's something that he can rediscover. They'll learn from it and they'll move on, and they've got a really good chance, I think, if they score early at the Etihad.
Do you agree with that, Micah?
Well, yes, I do agree with it. I thought they were very open in the middle of the park, which was unlike them. They got very stretched at times, allowed Real Madrid to counter-attack. You know, the penalty, the pattern of play leading up to the penalty is very un-City-like. Just a long ball to Vinny Jr. who's through on his own. That's not normally like them. And I thought there was not enough mobility in the centre of the park. So, as Joe said, you can pick holes in everything they do, but they've been exceptional for many, many years. So you just have to take it on the chin. It's one of those nights. Can they come back? That's the only thing they have to think about. Can he get the team for the weekend right, and then can he get the team for Real Madrid? Whether it's the same team, whether he puts two fullbacks in instead of what he did today, but he's searching for. I don't know what the best 11 is for Manchester City, because they were excellent the other day against Newcastle, and you thought, wow, and then he makes a host more changes, and sometimes you think, because the squad is so good, they look a little bit lost today in trying to search for this creative spark. It'll come, because we've seen it happen all the time. But it's just one of those things you just have to say, we were beaten tonight, we were beaten by a more savvy team. Take your medicine and roll on forward. And a lot of the English teams are going to have to do that. The all-conquering English Premier League, these last couple of days have been a little bit chastening for us all, haven't they? So we all have to take our medicine and move forward.
Been a rough time in Europe for English teams. You know about it, Joe. At the Etihad, how difficult a job is it when it's 3 goals and it's Real Madrid?
Well, I think obviously Mbappe's back training, isn't he? So if he's always going to be a threat if he's involved. Bellingham's back training, and then you've also got Vinny Jr., who's got his moments. So that's all Real Madrid have got to rely on now. They've done the hard work, they've done the battle, they've done the graft. They can rely on a good defensive display. Howson was good tonight, Trent was good, Rudiger, Courtois. They know that they can sit in and they can affect the game with 1 goal. Manchester City have got to be near perfect. They're capable of it, but it's going to be tough.
You've also got to get the ball past Courtois, who was just tonight, nothing was going past him.
Joe mentioned it before the game. This is a man who's been man of the match in Champions League finals, unstoppable at times. He's been Real Madrid's saviour on many, many, many occasions. Sometimes the goalkeepers, particularly here at Real Madrid, don't get the credit, because normally the goal scorers get all the credit. But he has been undoubtedly, you know, the best around, certainly in Spain for a long, long time. They're blessed in Spain. They've got Oblak over at Atletico, and they've got this fella here who's just fantastic all the time, and he had another brilliant evening today.
Tactically, I'm not sure how this is Pep's job. Obviously, he's very good at it, but it's a hard balancing act, because they're going to have to go for it, and then it will leave themselves open. Real Madrid only really got to get one to almost put it to bed. Yeah,
and that's why he gets paid what he gets paid. But he's going to find a way. I'm sure he is. He'll learn a lot from that tonight. I think the players will learn a lot from it. They may be overcomplicated it. Who knows? You know, just put sometimes your best 11 and put them in the positions that they need to be. Football seems to be crying out for that at the moment.
They'll need a bit of luck as well, Manchester City. When Liverpool beat Barcelona, they had a lot of luck at times. Barcelona missed chances. I was at the PSG Barcelona 4-0, 6-1 game, whatever it was, many moons ago, and they were very fortunate that night everything went their way. So that's going to be the same, have to be the same for Manchester City. They're going to have to start well. They'll have all the crowd, they'll have the atmosphere, they'll have the possession, they will dominate next week. It's, can they find the moment early? Can they put pressure on these Real Madrid players? And can they get a bit of fortune now and again in the game to squeeze a second in or something like that? But that's what's good. Everything's going to have to go their way with this scoreline this evening.
Yeah, because wow, we've got some analysis to do in that game, guys. In the meantime, we've got some analysis to do here. This was just incredible to watch, really, because I think it caught a lot of people by surprise what we saw here from Real Madrid. Let's get straight into it. We talked about how direct Real Madrid have been this season and how much Courtois plays a part in that.
Incredible ball. This was, we talked about, they were cutting lines, long balls, good first touches, and this had it all, didn't it? Valverde started the game so well. Not an easy finish, but to receive this ball, Oh, it's an incredible touch. Takes O'Reilly out of the game, and then it's can Donnarumma get to him and tackle him? As I talked about at half-time, pulls his hand away. He's not sure if he's outside the box or not. Doesn't want to give away a penalty and a red card. But look, what a brilliant goal. So delicate and an incredible finish.
Yeah, goes back to chase that ball down and then finds the calmness. I mean, he was so composed in all his finishing today, but that was a cute angle, running back away from the goal. Really, really nice finish to start the game off for Real Madrid.
I love Courtois' celebrations there.
Great moment, great moment for him. You've got to enjoy those big moments. He knows how important he is for Real Madrid. So if he's bringing that to the table as well, then geez, he goes up another level.
I've got a nice goalkeeper stat for you guys, especially you, Joe. Courtois, 2 assists in the Champions League this season. That is more than Bellingham and Mbappe.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate that for now, but that won't happen too often.
OK, guys, let's see Federico Valverde's next goal, because he wasn't done at 1-0. And look, this was a really interesting one, actually, Macca.
Yes, it was a lovely play by Vinny Jr. Really burst the speed into the space, gets a little bit of fortune possibly off Ruben Diaz, but it was all about the finish. First touch away from Nico O'Reilly, across Mark Gahey, and then just smashes it quick before Donnarumma can get set. Just flies past him, and another brilliant finish from him. Really, really, really cultured finish.
Oh, cultured finish, I quite like that. It wasn't done at 2-0 either. Valverde wanted one more.
If that was cultured, what about this one?
Hey, way back, just watch the way he dances around Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey almost forgets where he is for a minute.
This is just this is poetic, this one, Laura. If the other one was cultured, this is poetry in motion. He just glides through, just takes that touch over Gahey, and then over the top of the ball, as we talked about. A really difficult skill when you've got 6'6" Donnarumma flying at you. Commits to what he's doing, and the execution is fantastic.
See the volley, he's always trying to keep it down. The way he's trying to hit it with sort of his flat foot on his toes, just open, makes it come down. Brilliant, again, really nice finish. You could have smashed it high, you could have hit the goalkeeper, but he aims it deliberately low into that corner. An incredible hat-trick on a night like this.
Couple of debuts tonight in the Champions League for Manchester City. Mark Gahey being one of them. He's probably going to be in there in the dressing room going, wow, this is pretty difficult, isn't it, in the Champions League?
Well, do you know what? The levels, I think we were talking about at half-time, Macca, even I think the Nico O'Reilly, that second goal, the little touch from Ruben Diaz, and then Valverde just gets in front of O'Reilly because he's not quite sure that touch was there. They're the little differences you can get away with in the Premier League. But at the highest level, you know, we're talking about the Bernabeu in the last 16, you get punished an unbelievable finish.
This next little bit of analysis, we've got 2 acts to this one, because we've got Donnarumma against Vinicius Jr. giving away the foul, and then the reverse, the penalty. Have a little look at this. Just tell me, Joe, from your perspective, how this foul happened and who did the right thing.
Well, first place, City leaving themselves so open, 3-0 down. I think it's sharp from Vinny Jr. You see, just as a little step over here, sits Donnarumma down, and then he thinks he can pounce. But these players are so sharp, and immediately the referee's got no choice but to give that. But you know what? He whispered it into my ear just as we embraced after the game. He said this tie isn't over, and he stepped up for his team. 4-0 is a terrible, terrible scoreline, something you can't come back from. But keeping it at 3, massive.
He makes a genuine attempt for the ball, so he only gets booked there. He doesn't get a red card. This is the penalty, though, Macca.
Yeah, it's an awful penalty, isn't it? Vinny Jr. had a difficult game in the end. He started the first half really well, looked bright at times. But that's a poor penalty. No wonder he hasn't scored that many goals. Kylian Mbappe takes the penalty, so he's resumed that authority tonight, and he won't be taking many more. I don't know what he was up to. He's jumping in the air like a Bruno Fernandes. He never normally does that. No pace on the ball. Simple save.
But also, Macca, that technique requires you to not look at the ball. You see Bruno Fernandes, even Tony, when they approach the ball like that, they don't look at it. But he's done the skip, the slow motion, then he's got no idea what Donnarumma's doing. Once Donnarumma goes the right way, it's such a comfortable save.
What are you thinking as a goalkeeper when you see these little skips and the hop and the jump? I don't like them particularly as a viewer. What do keepers think of them?
It's so hard to get your time well executed. That is why the boys who score consistently, they score big numbers, because if you can execute it and you don't look at the ball, as a goalkeeper you're trying to get set. You're not quite sure how they're going to come onto it, how they're going to approach it. And if they're waiting for your tell, you can't go early, so therefore you're reducing how far in the corner you can get. So if they get the prime example is when they can watch you move and go the opposite way, but if they've got it in their head that if you're going to stand there for as long as possible and they're going to have to go the way that you go, and they're good enough to put it in the corner, like which they are at this level. But Vinny Jr. didn't do either. He kept looking at the ball. Donnarumma waited, and there he was waiting for him.
And it's not just you, Laura. Most people hate this type of penalty. I hate this type of penalty. But a Panenka or this type of penalty, it has to go in. Because when you miss, you're in big trouble, because that's an awful miss. You go and fire one and the goalie saves it, fair enough. But when you do that, you're just trying to be smart, you're just trying to be... Because it's 3-0. If it was 0-0, he wouldn't have taken that penalty. He's done it because it's 3.
Mackie goes and he apologises to the crowd. And I suppose they'll forgive him on a day like today because it's 3-0. But at a different game, at a different scoreline, would you have attempted that, do you think?
I don't think so at all. I don't think so. And you hear the crowd. The crowd... still a little tiny bit indifferent with Vinny Jr. You can see there was lots of applause for loads of people who worked hard. He gave a ball away right near the end of the game, and we were down here getting ready to come out, and the whistles for him, and there was fans by me calling him every name under the sun. They were Real Madrid fans, so you can see he still hasn't won the crowd over fully yet. A lot of the young kids, Fede, Valverde did, everybody worked hard today. House and Rudiger, they have won the crowd over with that performance today, but they're still slightly indifferent to Vinny Jr. You can hear it.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this big Courtois save. We said he was so effective at both ends of the pitch today. How important would this be?
He's just a top goalie, and he's on it all the time. Difficult passing, didn't really give him too many options. To be aware, as Nico O'Reilly comes round the blind side, actually strikes it so well. It's an incredible save. It's someone who just never wants to give up anything. You know, he's such a top goalkeeper, and he has been for so long, and his team appreciate him, because if they're going to do anything, he needs to be at that level.
Mac, if they'd have taken 3-1 back to the Etihad, it would have felt a bit different, quite a lot different to 3-0.
As Joe rightly said, 4-0 finished, 3-1, they're right in the game again, because you know that Manchester City can't be this bad again. They won't be this inefficient, they won't be this subdued, they certainly won't be like that next week. 3-0 even now, depending on what type of team Real Madrid put out, there's a question mark about it, because I don't think they can replicate that type of performance. With 3 18-year-olds on, it was a hell of a performance, as I mentioned before. So it's going to be really hard, but they put themselves in an incredible position, aren't they? 3-0 up. Nobody, even the ardent fans, didn't think